Hello, thanks for stopping by. Amanda here. This is the second video of the layout series of Scrap Your Stash, where I'm using some of the 200 plus layouts that had been created during workshops and adding them to several thousand photos that have become to the surface as we moved across country and unpacked boxes. So these were all in one of those old albums that had the adhesive strips on it and the plastic coverings over them. So I had taken them all out, and then I went ahead and just ran cornstarch on the back of it. It's a sock actually from when our oldest, who's 19, was a baby, and you just fill it with cornstarch. So that takes the adhesive off of it. So I thought that the colors in this Wanderful paper, or maybe it was Wanderlust, worked really well with the tone of these old photos from when my husband went on his class senior trip, and they went from Michigan's Upper Peninsula to Toronto, Canada. So I'm just taking some of the pages out of the page protectors and taking a look to see, well, what do I have and what will work with the photos. I really like this. Yeah, it's funny. I'm like, wait, how does this go? Oh, there's a title. So that's my clue. I really like that yellow. It's just bright and vivid. So I'm just checking things out, seeing what colors work, putting my photos down. I really like how it works with the flaxen, which is the back page of that single page there. And here on the yellow and blue is just too crisp. It's too bright to work with the aged photos, but it works really well with the one that I have here on the left. Oh, and the right. I do have to apologize. I forgot to turn on my light that's on the right side of my desk. Normally there's natural daylight that comes in, and it's kind of an overcast day, and I didn't even think about it when I was creating, so it's a little dark on that side. So for those of you that are a little squeamish, you might want to pop ahead, because I am about to cut this page in half. And then later on, I actually cut a second page in half. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 6x12 flip flap and make this page that I just cut in half in that flip flap. But so that it looks like when it's in the album, that it's one cohesive page, I'm also going to cut this left side apart. So here I am putting the one, just kind of test fitting it in. And what's going to happen is it's going to go on the side of the page, but I realize that for cohesiveness, I actually need to cut the left page in half as well. So I will do this now, or realize this, and then carefully remove all of the photo mats and some of the embellishments, and they actually come up pretty easy. I figured anything that didn't come up easy or left, some torn paper, which I really got lucky on, I would just make sure to cover with an embellishment of some sort. It's also, this layout came together very quickly because the workshop layout is already very well embellished, and there's already lots of interest, and there's already, arrows and titles and things to kind of move your eye across the page. So I do some background stamping, again, because it just ties in with what's already there. But I hope you enjoyed seeing how I'm using these pre-done layouts to work with my photos and make a nice done page and a half, or actually it's a triple page layout for my scrapbook albums. So I'm getting my photos to my albums. So there's the little bit of paper that ripped, and that's it. But see, now it will look like a cohesive layout when you first open the page in the scrapbook. And I'm just kind of dry fitting, trying to test where things will go. And then I realized I don't need to know any of that now. The photos need to be the star. So I have put some photos down. I have a good idea of what I want to do. And now I'm just trimming them to work with the photo mats that are there. I will round the corners with a corner rounder that I have. I've had it for years, and it works very well. And the photos here, I'm actually putting one on top of the other, and I think that works really well for being able to tell the story. They're both photos inside the hotel room where the kids, stayed and played and had fun. And I just thought it was a good pairing. I want to add that I also took a whole stack of photos in to my husband and said, hey, pick the ones that mean something to you. And he's like, this happened 30 plus years ago. I don't know, and I said, just pick the ones that mean something to you. If I need some of the other ones to help tell the story or fill in things, I'll pull them out. But I want to make sure I have the ones that mean something to you. So now I'm, again, just kind of testing photos or auditioning photos in different places and cutting them down to match the photo mats that are already there. And it really turned out well. And like I said, the colors of the old 1980 prints, in the 80s prints, work with the colors of this paper. So I was very pleased by that. Here I'm rounding the corners like I told you. It just, it's kind of funny. I felt like it was a throwback technique, but with the age of the photos, I kind of think it works. So, when I first started scrapbooking, it was all the rage to round the, corners, or to use photo corners even, or round just two of the corners, opposite corners, so you kind of had two pointy and two rounded. And so I think it works with these photos, with the layout, and I hope you agree. And one of the things that I'm noticing is I needed to anchor some of these things. Like that favorite, I couldn't get up. It was well adhered to the paper. But if I had something to kind of anchor it to the side where the split was, that would help. And so I took this piece of black, and I just, to make sure that the top banner and the bottom banner were the same, I cut them together, and then you cut to the middle so that they match. And it just kind of space them out there. It also lets you cheat so that you don't have to have your photos both within the frame of that purple with the little banners on it on the right side. You can stretch them out a bit and give them some more space. So I grabbed this background stamp that I had from years ago, and that's what I'm going to use. And I realized I don't have access to my long block, or my access, it's in my room. I know where it is, but because I'm in the middle of organizing my room, I have things in the way. So I got my Misty out, and I'm like, oh, well, just as you can close it with it on, I can use the lid and open it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I did end up having an issue here because I didn't put foam behind. So I'll end up standing up and really lining it up and putting some extra pressure on it. And then after that, I use the foam that comes with the stamp set when I do that the next few times. So I did one there. So then that kind of bridges the gap between the flap. And I'll do it on the inside pages here. And I'll move everything over so you can actually see. But I'll also switch the left and the right pages on my Versamats so that when I'm stamping, it's at the same level. And that had a little, from when I cut it, I knew that was there. So now I'll put the foam underneath, or at least I hope I will. And I don't know why I didn't want to take the stamp off the Misty, but I was like, okay, well, it's here. I'll just line it up. I'll just move the Misty to get it to line up correctly. And then I bump the camera leg, which you can see in the upper corner there. And finally, it was like, all right, Amanda, just take the stamp off and reposition it. And when I took it off, I decided to orient it differently. So I think maybe it's just me, but I think we're funny how sometimes we get one pattern in our head and we realize, okay, you're being ridiculous, start over. So if you ever have any of those moments, I'd love to hear about them so that I know that I'm not alone. And I was using charcoal ink. The black I thought was going to be a little too stark. And the funny thing is I matted the left circle on the right page, but I didn't mat the one next to it. Thankfully, there's a photo that's going to be over that, but I didn't realize it at the time. So I had a lot of interruptions today from family, so it's all good. And then these were some of the things that I had taken off the pages, but then I found this pack of travel, I don't know what they would be. They're papers, but little doodads, and I just pulled some out that I thought would work. I'll realize here in a minute, although I really like this one, Pure Fun, the green does not work with the page because there's really not green on the page. It's flaxen. So I realize anything with the green on it is out. But I pull a few tags, and this had an arrow, and my base layouts had arrows, so I just thought it would work. I got out a punch and did a scallop punch around it. It was actually the perfect size. So the scallop punch tied in with the circles for the subway map that's all cut apart or surrounded by circles at the bottom of the page. So it's kind of tying in some of the elements that were already on the page, but also bringing the photos, like putting the focus on the photos. So I'm going to punch another one of those cards with hashtag fun on it, and I'll pop that up as well, excuse me. And I'm just kind of looking at the pages and trying to figure out what will work, what needs extra embellishing, what's fine. Some of the photos that aren't necessarily adding to the story, I don't want to highlight too much, but I do want to have your eye go past them because they are part of the story. I don't have any of the journaling done on this. That's something my husband's going to have to do, and he's going to need to sit and look at the layout for a while and try to remember aspects of the trip, or at least, some of the people, and we can at least get those names on there. So there's where we're at, and that's kind of what it's going to look like with that on top. So pretty excited about this, and we're just going to add the last little touches, see if we want to... I kind of stepped back and was looking at if I wanted to add any metal to it, and there's already a round piece of metal under the stop of the right page, and I just felt like it was getting too busy. So now I'm going to show you how to put this in a page protector. So the page protector is like an envelope with that white flap, that's the glue. So you put it so that it closes like an envelope with the adhesive on the outside after you close it. So I just get it started so that I can line it up, and I'm putting it on the page protector. So you put it on the page protector, line it up, and then I rip the strip off and attach it. And I slowed the video down so that you could have a closer look at these pages and kind of how they all interact. And these are ready to go in the album. So pretty excited. Like I said, there's lots going on. The photos aren't the stellar photography that we've learned these days, but it all works. So here's some other videos in this series that you may be interested in. Otherwise, I hope to start just a technique series for paper crafting in general soon. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to join me. Thanks.